You are now watching the Movie Juice Podcast.
The juice is loose.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Movie Juice Podcast. I'm Dylan.
I'm James. I'm Kyle. Fuck, my bad.
And I'm Kyle. I'm James.
There we go. Movie Juice. Movie Juice. Movie Juice. Movie Juice. Juice the movie.
Yeah. I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Yes, you are. I checked the calendar.
Oh,
I
okay.
checked the schedule. You're supposed to be here.
Yeah, you're right.
It says right here in this planner over there that we're recording Clerks today.
It did say that. Holy shit.
Well, actually, it's on February, technically.
Shit. So maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Well, today,
Well, hey, 12 or I walk.
today we're covering
Clerks.
Clerks. Would you guys recommend this movie?
Yes.
Absolutely.
If this was 1994 and you were going to the movie theater?
I'm just going to
For
spoil it. This is one of
sure.
my favorite movies of all time. Yes, I would.
I love this movie.
If you've... My big thing, because I don't want to, suck its cock too much, but if you've ever worked retail, watch this movie. You will love it.
Yeah.
You'll love it. You'll love it. You'll understand it. You'll get it. It was made for you. Kevin Smith literally said so.
I like this movie.
Did I shoot my load too early?
Maybe a little bit. I do like this movie. It's not my favorite of Kevin Smith's movies, though.
No, not at all. But I still really love it.
But I do really like this movie.
As a place where it all started, it's really good.
Yeah, I can agree with that for sure.
It's a great first movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that too. You guys want to go ahead and get started? Or no, yeah. Read off the little things, the little snippets.
So it debuted, release date was October 19th, 1994. The starting off budget was $27,575, and the post-production budget was $230,000. Box office, it made $4.4 million.
Oh, okay, so it actually did really good for what they spent on it. That's good. I guess, I don't know, it's kind of wild that it did that good to me, because back then, literally the only way you could spread things was basically through word of mouth. So that is really cool that happened.
Because it also gives me, Kevin Smith only shot the movie for $27,000, and then Miramax purchased the rights for $230,000, and then they spent that on music, licensing, and editing.
Yeah, you can tell, especially with the music. Also, Miramax. Remember when that was a big fucking company that made movies?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're still around, but they don't make nearly as
Well,
many
that was
movies.
the Harvey Weinstein stuff.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
because he was involved with all that.
I noticed at the end of the movie in the credits it says thank you to in the thank you it says thank you to Harvey Weinstein for an incredible order of potato skins. So yeah, you're right. I just a random thing I noticed on this rewatch. I was like, oh, interesting. So,
Yeah, man.
you're right. Yeah,
But back then, Miramax was huge, and it was everywhere.
Yeah. Yep.
Which I think is very interesting, because they did Scream and stuff too.
Yep.
And all the Kevin Smith movies, at least those first 6. But I don't know. Now I know they don't, but whatever. So anyway, you guys want to get into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Movie starts.
there's a weird clown man in a thong.
Yep.
Yeah.
View Askew Pictures.
USQ. Is it Pictures or Productions?
Productions.
Okay. It literally splitting hairs, but And then there's a dog. Oh yeah, because you're in Dante's apartment, and he's got Dante's mom's house. You find out, but at first I wrote it was an apartment. He's got a dog, and his name's Dante. That's the main character. We're introduced to him. He falls out of a closet to the phone ring.
Yeah.
He answers the phone.
And he said he's off today, and he's playing hockey at 2, and he's fucking tired. And I put me too, man.
I'm fucking tired. I quote that all the time. I'm fucking tired.
It's crazy that none of these guys are actors, and they're just Kevin Smith's friends.
They're just his buddies.
Yep.
And then he says, "No, I don't work today. I'm playing hockey at 2." And he talks about how he had just closed last night, and he's talking to his boss, I guess the person that runs the Quick Stop, and he says that he'll be there by 12.
12 or I walk.
Yeah, 12 or I walk. And
say you'll be there and I'll do it.
Also, I noticed that whenever he gets off the phone and goes to hang it up, he doesn't get it on right.
Yeah, no, he fucks
it up.
He's like, ugh.
And then we get our title card.
Yep.
So
Clerks.
And then I wrote getting ready in his shit ass apartment montage.
Yep.
Later, you find out he lives with his mom.
Yeah, because I found it weird. I guess it was chocolate milk mix, or I think because
he like pours it into like the top of a cookie jar,
and then pours the milk into it, and then just drinks it out of the hat. And I was like, that just looks gross.
Yeah, I was like, this is weird.
I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be coffee or hot chocolate mix or whatever.
Yeah. Maybe instant coffee.
Maybe, but it was gross. And I was like, this looks gross. Because how would you put that back on the lid of the coffee? That's gonna get moldy if you don't wash that. But then you won't have a lid on the coffee.
It's like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, like none of that made sense at all. That's why I couldn't even figure out what the fuck was going on. I was like, what are you doing?
And then he goes to the Quick Stop, and that is where he works. And they have a work cat.
Yeah, it's a cute little black cat.
It's a really pretty little black cat.
Well, everything's black, because we've got to tell you guys, this movie's all in black and white.
Yeah, that's true. But it's actually a black cat.
Yeah, because, Kevin Smith, wanted to save... That was a good way to save money, was to film in black and white.
Yeah. Yep. It's not a bad idea, by any means.
Agreed. And it doesn't take away from the film at all, in my opinion.
And no, me neither. I think the first time I tried to watch it when I was younger, it did for me. But now that I'm, older, it didn't really bother me.
Agreed.
And then he starts, just doing, his daily morning opening routines. He makes coffee. So, okay, I do have a question for you guys. What's up with the newspaper thing? Why does he go take newspapers?
I think maybe they just didn't deliver them, or he forgot to go pick them up, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I literally have in my notes that he uses the same quarter, steals all the fucking newspapers, and then gets his quarter back.
Yes, he does.
I thought that was funny.
I wrote...
which leads me into one of my notes later, but I was like, Dante's not really a good guy. Yeah.
I just wrote, this dude sucks at his job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then also, I would too if I had to work this job.
He goes and gets the shutter. He goes and tries to open up all the shutters because I guess just where they're at, they have to shutter all the windows too.
Yeah.
And he can't get one of them open because there's gum in the locks.
We don't find that out until later, but he looks at the lock and he's like, "Ah, damn!" Because
that's true.
Yeah, can't open them.
You're good.
I'm not nitpicking.
I do the same thing.
Nitpicking.
Nitpicking.
I said nitpicking.
Who the fuck is Nick?
Nickelodeon.
Nick.
Nickelodeon.
Hey, but he can't open up the shutters, so he makes a sign that says,
"I assure you that we are open."
I assure you we are open.
He had to make it with shoe polish.
Yes,
because that comes back multiple times.
And it's like a black screen says vilification.
Vilification, yes.
I literally put I started doing it where I put chapters, but then it really wasn't really chapters. So I just but every time I made note of the next one, I would put it in quotations. You know?
Honestly, there's a lot of words that I do not know that they used.
I got a lot. I got most notes on that one.
I thought about going into
one in particular towards the end that my mom helped me figure out because we were watching this movie together.
Word. And then there's a dude. It's the first scene, and he's got the store open. There's a dude in there, and he's buying coffee. And a guy comes in and asks. He tells him that he's just going to drink the coffee there. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever, you know. And then another guy comes in and starts to buy cigarettes.
Pack cigarettes?
And,
because that's like every person's in there is like, a pack of cigarettes.
That's all they buy, the whole thing.
And the guy was just like, a pack of cigarettes. He tries he pulls a lung. He's like, you know what that's doing to your body? He pulls out a fucking pack of...
He pulls out a fucking lungs. Yeah. And he plops it on the table. And he's like, look at this. How long have you been smoking? He's like, I've been smoking since I'm 13. And he's like, this is what your lungs look like. Then he also ends up pulling out a trach ring. And he's talking about, this is from an old man. He used to smoke through that and blow smoke out of it. And now he's dead.
And then he used to put the cigarettes in there and smoke it out of that.
Yep.
This is because I remember we'd have those talks at school. They would bring somebody in too, and I'm just like, ugh, gross.
Could you imagine smoking to a hole in your neck?
No. And I
thought there's that one episode of Workaholics too where that guy's got that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny because I was like, damn, he just has that on him. And then she's like, here, you should buy a pack of gum instead. And
Chuli's gum.
Chuli's gum, yes, thank you. And then the customer walks away, buys the gum, leaves, and Dante says, hey, will you not bother the customers, please?
He's like, yeah, if you're gonna drink that coffee, you might want to drink it outside. He's like, I paid for it. He's like, yeah, well, can you not bother the customers?
Yeah. Which I get.
Yeah.
I mean, can you not pander to my fucking...
Yeah. I have to stand here and keep working here, but I really don't want to have to deal with your shit.
Yeah, I don't want you to pander.
Which is half this fucking movie. It's just like, bro, just leave this fucking store. You buy your shit, get out.
Get out. And then the next customer comes in.
I think it's funny though that one guy when he gives him a picture of the lung and then he gives him a picture of it. He's like, yeah, you keep that.
Yeah, the lung cancer picture.
Why would I want that?
Why do I want to keep this?
But the next customer comes in and he immediately does it again. Then it cuts to the video shop next door, and Jay and Silent Bob are standing outside.
Yeah.
And Jay's gonna get some pussy and kick some ass.
Yeah, he said, I need some tits and ass. Yeah. And then he does a sweet dance. And he says he's gonna fuck anything that moves.
I want to fuck anything that moves.
moves!
And he will also kick ass.
Yeah.
And then I swear to God, he's ad-libbing. Like, there's no way they wrote
Oh,
this
yeah,
down.
half the shit.
He's just saying dumb
half the shit with Jay and Silent Bob, you can just tell. Because, like, that's the friendship he and Jason Mewes have. It's like, it's just like, we just say shit to each other. Kind of like us, when we're not on the pod. Like, we just dick around and say the stupidest shit to make each other laugh.
Absolutely.
And then, this is when he starts talking to Silent Bob. He's like,
Yeah.
he tells him he's rude but cute.
You're a rude motherfucker, but you're cute as hell. I go down on you and suck you and line up 3 other guys and make like a circus seal.
Yep.
He also I wrote the whole quote. A lot of my notes for this movie is just whole quotes because I love this movie.
He also
so
mentions that he wants to suck his cock but loves women.
I love women.
I love women. And then it goes back to the gas station, and there's like a crowd of people.
Yeah.
And
he's like pandering. The Chulies guy's pandering to.
We don't
know that yet. Yeah, I caught myself doing it that time.
And
the guy who pushed Chuli's gum earlier is talking about. He's like, yeah, you know, you're just doing your job. I know another guy who was just doing their job. They were called Nazis.
Yeah. And he also calls Dante a merchant of death, also, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
And then
they almost start a riot.
They almost start a riot, and then the guy says he's going to buy some Truly's gum, and the people start throwing cigarettes at Dante. And then
Cancer merchant.
And then a lady shows up with a fire extinguisher and sprays the crowd, and the guy who caused the ruckus tries to leave.
He's almost sneaking out, like doo-doo-doo.
Yeah. And then she's
Who's
like,
leading this mob?
do you have any identification? And you find out that he is
a Chuli's gum representative.
Chuli's gum representative.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
He was just trying to get them to buy gum instead of smokes.
Yeah. And then Veronica kicks everybody. That's the girl's name. Veronica.
We find out her name's Veronica, and she is Dante's girlfriend.
Yeah. Also, I thought it was funny that before
because that needs to be said.
Before everyone from the crowd leaves, one of the guys buys a pack.
One more of that. That's true because he's like
Dante like angrily sells it to him. He's like, yeah, whatever. Which, to be fair, I'd probably be a little pissed too.
Well, yeah, because he wanted the cigarettes to begin with, and then he sided with the Chulis guy, and then afterwards he still wants a pack of cigarettes. I'm like, bro, quit, make up your fucking mind. Get the fuck out of my store.
But then after you find out that that's
I'd be pissed too.
That's his girlfriend, he hits you with the "I'm not even supposed to be here today,"
which is number 1. I kept track of every "I'm not supposed to be here today."
I think there's like 4.
I was gonna guess 5.
I don't want to spoil it yet, but you're both. One of you is right.
Oh yeah.
And then
well, technically there's 6, but fuck, I already spoiled it. Technically there's 6. I got 5, but there is 6 because Randall technically says it once. But I only count Dante's when he's like, I'm not even supposed to be here today. But Randall technically says it the 6th time when he's like, yeah, you're not even supposed to be here today.
Then this is when you find out there was gum in the locks.
Yeah.
Because she asked him why the shutters aren't open, and
he
tells her like there was gum in the locks, so I couldn't get them unlocked.
It says a bunch of savages in this town.
Yeah. I also heard that every time that came back. Because, like, multiple people say that throughout this movie.
And then it's funny because they're kind of both, like, hiding behind the counter. And he's not even running the register. He just left some change.
Yeah.
Up on
She's
top.
like, you're not afraid they're going to steal that? And he's, well, you know, normally when people see money on the counter and a camera watching them, they assume they're being watched.
Yeah.
And then Veronica says, honesty through paranoia.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, that's kind of smart.
And then I wrote down, Dante smells like shoe polish because that's what he used to make the sign.
Yeah, because she's like the first person to be like, why does it smell like shoe polish?
And he also tries to have sex with his girlfriend behind the
counter. Because she has
she offers, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, she was like,
almost.
She was like, can anybody see us from down here? He was like, why, you want to have sex? She was like, can we? And he was like, are you serious? She's like, no.
And he's also painting her fingernails.
Which, yeah, it's such an iconic, like, it's fucking cool. I love that. Like, it's just a cool idea. I like that. But, like, they got a really cool relationship.
And then he starts talking about, start talking about making men versus women come.
Yep.
And
how it's so much easier for him to make a man come.
It is. I mean, not that I know, because I've never made a man come, but I've made myself come.
Because he says making a guy climax isn't at all challenging. But making a woman come is real talent.
It's talent. That's exactly what I have. Making a woman come is talent.
Yep.
And Veronica's like almost insulted, but I'm like, really? He kind of just gave women a compliment. I don't know what you're mad about.
Well, it's kind of backhanded though, also because
I guess, yeah.
He's basically saying that like anybody could do her job, but
that's true. Yeah, that's not the right. Yeah,
he's good at making her come though, so it's he's like a dog.
I feel like he's probably not though.
I mean, I don't know. You find out that he has banged 12 women.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty butthurt about that.
That's a pretty respectable number.
So I like it too because he says, I'm just making a broad generalization, and then Veronica says, you're making a generalization about broads.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool wordplay. I like that.
And then after the 12 women comment, you find out she's only slept with 3.
She also pops him on the head after he says 12 and calls him a pig.
Yeah.
And she was like, so you want to know how many I've slept with? And he goes, do I get to hit you?
They're going to hit you after you tell me?
But she says 3. She wants him to come with her to a Monday seminar. She gets up.
She goes to leave.
Yeah, because she has class in 45 minutes. And there's a dude that recognizes Veronica.
Who's got to be very fucking stoned. 'Cause
Oh,
throughout this
God,
whole movie,
yeah.
we see him again. He's like, hey, man, how are you?
He's got to be like stoned. Shoot stoned. Like
He's
for real.
He's goofy blitzed.
Yeah, but also, we come to find out his name is Snowball.
And why is his name Snowball, Kyle?
Because he likes to get a blowjob and then have it kissed back into his own mouth.
Yep.
That is disgusting.
And you know who did it? Veronica.
Veronica.
Well,
did it.
apparently Snowball gets him off.
Yeah, that's what it's like his big thing he loves.
So then he's like, "Wait, you sucked his dick?" And she's like, "Yeah," because like they have like a mutual friend too.
Yeah.
So Dante assumes that she's the mutual friend did it, but it was really Veronica that did it because she was only vaginally penetrated by 3 penises.
Exactly, because that's the technical term. Well, that's not in the movie. We're just saying that. But
Yeah.
like technically, like because Dante's like, "Oh, you've blown people, but you don't consider that sex." And then we find out she's sucked,
Including his.
Dylan. How many
37 dicks.
in a row?
37 cocks in her mouth is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm 37, and then
A customer walks up and he goes, my girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
in a row.
That's my favorite fucking quote.
And then she only fucks the guys she loves.
Right, which I thought that was kind of endearing too. I was like, yeah, because we'll be making out and eventually I'll go down on it. But I only had sex with the ones I loved, and I was like, I get it.
And then also he makes a comment about how he tastes 36 other guys when they kiss.
Yeah,
Which is like, damn, bro, that's ridiculous. Like,
yeah. And then she's like, I gotta go to class. And then he goes out he leans out the door and says, Don't try to suck any dick on the way to the parking lot.
And the guy follows and goes, hey, you come back.
You come back here. The look on his face is hilarious too. He's like,
and then it's
Another black screen, and then it says Randall.
Randall, yeah. And then it shows where there's like an old man who wants to drop off a video at the video store.
Yep.
But Randall's not there to open it on time. And the old man's mad about it.
And he says that Randall sits on his ass watching TV all day. And it says one time he caught Randall sleeping.
And he was like, he wasn't sleeping. And
Dante's like, I doubt he was sleeping. Is he calling me a liar? He's like, no, I just...
He's like, listen, wise ass.
Yeah, I wrote Dante is a white ass.
Yeah.
A wise ass.
Man, he ain't that big.
Old man is being mean to Dante.
And then he hits him with the old classic. I'm gonna go to the other video store instead. I'm like, fine, that was always an option.
And
Fuck
he
you.
leaves his keys and Dante just grabs them.
You
and
forgot
throws
your
them.
keys. Yeah, I love that.
And then there's a girl outside.
Yeah, the video store.
The video store, and a guy walks up who you find out is Randall.
Who we find out later is Randall, yeah. But for now, it's just some guy, and we're like, huh.
Who is this man? And then she wants to rent a movie called Dental School. And he says, hey, that's the movie I came
Like,
for,
that's the movie I
too.
was gonna rent, too.
And
she was like, well, I have dibs. I've been here for 30 minutes.
and he bets her $20 that she won't check it out. And then this is whenever the old man comes up and you find out he comes back looking for his keys.
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
And then
Which is funny, because, like, if the old man knew...
he knows Randall.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know, it's weird that, like... I guess he's more concerned about finding his keys, I guess, than he is about...
hating Randall.
Yeah, I guess in that moment, I guess. But, I mean, hey, you shouldn't have been a dick to my boy... Dante. And left your keys like a dumbass.
And then I wrote down syntax. What is that?
That's the next title card.
Oh, okay.
But before that, I put in my notes that Randall's totally my spirit animal.
I like Randall.
There's obviously more moments in the future of this movie where it's more clear, but like he's just like I've always resonated with him.
I like Randall a lot.
And then also he calls back to the bunch of savages line because he also says that when he says that someone jammed going in the locks.
Yeah, because he walks into the store.
He walks into the store and says hey to Dante to get the keys for the video store.
And then after the syntax title card or syntax chapter, Randall talks about how he tore up someone's card because they refused a late fee because he didn't open on time so that they could turn in their movie.
Yeah,
which is pretty fucking funny.
Agreed. But also, like, I'd be pretty pissed too if I was gonna return it as soon as they opened that day, but then like it was because they
weren't open on time and they tried to charge me anyway.
Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed about that too. I'm like, I'm not paying that either.
I'd be like, man, fuck you.
That's probably when I will go to the fucking movie rental place across town too. To be fair, but I wouldn't be an asshole bad to the fucking person because like they don't give a shit if I go to a different fucking theater rental store or not.
No, they don't care at all. it's like whenever at my work someone says like they're gonna start shopping somewhere else, I'm like, okay.
Also, we never followed back up on that other girl. Was she able to rent the tape, or was he just like, no, I'm not gonna rent that to you?
I don't think that you find out.
Did he get his $20? I want to know.
I'm sure he did.
Because I mean, he's probably like, oh yeah, we don't have that anymore. He's probably like threw it in the bag, like, oh yeah, we don't have that anymore. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, we don't have any more copies at dental school. Sorry.
And then they start talking about a ruling class.
Kind of fucking boring anyway. Yeah, because he's a firm believer in the philosophy of a ruling class, especially since I rule.
Yeah, because he rules.
It's like, goddamn, I love this man.
And then they start talking about Caitlin, who is Dante's
ex-girlfriend.
And they were together for 5 years.
And she was a whore.
Through high school, yeah, she was a whore. We found out she cheated on Dante 8.5 times.
Yeah, because the half was because she accidentally had sex with him, but was calling him Brad.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Randall's like, oh, well, I've been called other names, but I'm having sex before too. It's not a big deal.
Randall specifically says that he's called a woman mom during sex.
I thought that was pretty funny too.
Yeah. But then you find out that later, Brad, who was like a guy that a bunch of girls
my next note too. Is one time I called this girl mom. I didn't even realize I had that in my notes.
The Brad is a gay man now, and he raises sheep with his partner.
Yeah.
So good for him. And
good for those sheep.
Good for those sheep. And it's funny because they're talking about it, and Dante says, takes different strokes to move the world. And I was like, that's a nice way to put that. I like that. And then
it's kind of where they're also talking about how he's like kind of still into her, but seeing Veronica.
And they're talking about how they still talk on the phone and stuff.
Yeah, and he basically says he'd give up Veronica in a heartbeat because he doesn't see a future with him and Veronica anyway. Because it's like the fight they had this morning, he clearly doesn't. Yeah, you have the quote from it. Yeah, because I like the way he says it. Too.
He says that he thinks his arguments with Veronica are a manifestation of him wanting to break up with her and having a more meaningful relationship with Caitlin.
Yeah, and I just like. Skeezy, dude. Because my next note is literally Dante is not a good dude. Like he's kind of a piece of shit.
He's kind of an asshole.
Like I get it to the customers, but he's just like to even treat people you like that way. Is
dude.
That's pretty fucked up.
Well, he's worse to the people that he cares about than the fucking customers.
Shit, dude. I never thought about that.
And
you're kind of right.
I wrote, why does he still talk to his ex? Fuck that.
Yeah, that's weird, man.
Yeah, dude. And then could not be me. Caitlin is engaged.
Yeah.
Because you find out he's talking, and then that's when Randall's like, oh yeah, apparently she's getting engaged to a
Asian design major.
Although they fuck it up and say, I think they say fashion major the first time just to joke about it or something.
I don't really remember. And then
because it was in the paper.
Yeah, it's in the paper.
It was an engagement announcement in the paper because apparently everyone's read this fucking paper and seen it,
except for
Dante.
Because Dante says he needs to talk to Veronica. And then he also needs to talk to Caitlin, and Randall says, Dante, you need to talk to Veronica, Caitlin, and Caitlin's fiance. And then he hands him the newspaper.
He's like, what?
And then it pans to Jay and Silent Bob.
And they're just kind of like there.
Yeah, and then they just pan back.
And then it goes back to the video store, and Randall's working.
Because I think it kind of pans to them while they're still talking. Like, it's a pan shot of them, but you can still hear Dante and Randall's conversation.
I remember I just wrote down Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
But then it's
like a cutaway to them.
It's in the video store, and Randall's like looking at a catalog to like rent movies.
Yeah, because I remember he mentions earlier in the store that he's got to call the distributor.
Yeah,
and
it's a lady asking for it's a lady asking for a certain video, and she wants
Hero Pups,
Happy Scrappy Hero Pop.
Yeah, it's like her little girl's favorite, who she's holding.
And then he starts to order porn.
Yeah, like a lot of porn.
A lot of porn.
And I put in my notes, this is a really fun way to film this scene, because you can tell they filmed him and the mom's reaction separately, so that way he wasn't actually saying all that in front of the kid.
Yeah.
Because like he starts his conversation on the phone with them both in the shot, and then after that we cut from a shot of him and a shot of the mom holding the kids. Like I thought it was pretty smart so he didn't actually say all these porn names in front of this kid.
Did you guys write down any of the porn
I
names?
wanted to, but there's just a lot of them.
I wrote down two of my favorites.
Fine. That's pretty good.
I wrote down Coming in Socks, and I wrote down All Holes Filled with Hard Cock.
That's weird. You picked like the two tamest ones.
Yeah. Well, Coming in Socks really made me laugh.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because I remember the last one he said, but specifically the last one he said, literally.
Yeah, it was. It was the very last one. I was like, I'm on
because I was like, I knew the crazier ones were at the beginning, but yeah.
And then it goes back to Dante, and it's him calling the newspaper.
The newspaper. Maybe it's like a misprint, or maybe you
spelled the
maybe
name
it was
wrong?
by a party that I don't know, wanted to fuck with on somebody like that. And then he's like, and I guess they ask who it's his. Like, I'm just a curious party. Curious party?
And while this is going on, there's a customer waiting for him to come back to the counter, and the cat starts shitting in its litter box.
And it was funny. He's like, what the fuck? You can tell he kind of has a smile on his face, too. I think it was, like, unscripted. I think it just kind of happened because he was like, oh.
Yeah, he's just kind of sitting there watching the cat take a shit. And then,
I think they filmed this in a real place.
Yeah, they did. Because I know in the credits it also said thank you to the quick go, whatever it's called.
And then the newspaper hangs up on Dante. And then I have human vacuum written down.
Yes, I do too. Because she walks up to Jay and Silent Bob.
And,
look, it's the old human vacuum.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's Jay's cousin from Russia.
Oh, dude, this shit was fucking funny.
This one me and Dylan quote all the time.
It's Bob's cousin.
Bob's cousin Olaf.
And he says he wants to be a metal singer, and he's like, give me the metal face, and he makes a face at her.
He's in some metal band called Fuck Your Yankee Blue Jeans. And she's like, that doesn't sound very metal. Well, maybe it sounds more metal in Russian.
And then I just wrote down, making fuck berserker.
He's like, come on, Olaf, sing. He's like, nah. He's like, come on, sing berserker. He's like, my love for you is like a truck berserker.
Would you like to make some fuck berserker? Did he just say making fuck?
This is the funnest way to say sex.
Yeah. And then it cuts back to Randall leaving the video shop
to go talk to
Dante.
And pans back to Berserker,
and he's talking about cock.
Because Randall was on the counter finishing up a movie. We don't see what he's watching, but then that's when he decides to go talk to.
Yeah.
Because that comes in a second.
But then it's Olaf singing to Snowball, and Snowball thinks that it's beautiful.
It's just beautiful, man.
And it's back to Dante. He's trying to get a Pringles can off a dude's hand.
And I put in my notes, oh man, a Pringles can stuck on the hand. Bull Burnham may have had a point.
The customer says, they got to put a warning on this thing.
He's like, yeah, usually I just tip the can up, but this time I reached in there to grab it.
And
he's like, I'm going to throw this away just for safety measures.
And they get it off, and the dude's like, yeah, it stings a little. And then Dante eats the chips that were in the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
He's like, I guess the lesson is you gotta learn to let those hard to reach Pringles go. And I was like, damn, yeah.
That's a metaphor for letting Caitlin go.
Yeah, but he won't fucking take his own advice because he's kind of a piece of shit.
He's kind of a cockhead.
Yeah, he's kind of a cock smoker.
Yeah.
And then Randall gets in there, and they talk about how Caitlin is really getting married. And then Randall talks about how he was watching Return of the Jedi. Which is my favorite Star Wars movie.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
See, because he asked Dante which one he likes more, and he says Empire, and he says Blasphemous. But the older I get, the more I agree with him. I do kind of think when I was younger, I loved Return of the Jedi, but as an adult, I do see how Empire is a lot better.
I recognize how good Empire is what I wrote down. Yep. Because it is also very good. All three of them are good.
They are good, but yeah, but I think it's funny when Dante says Empire. He's like, blasphemous.
but Randall starts talking about how the ending didn't sit right with him.
Yeah. And then one of my favorite quotes is he's like, yeah, it's just a bunch of downer endings. And then Dante says, life is a series of downer endings. But I was like, yeah, no, I totally felt that.
And Randall's also talking about how, like, when the Death Star exploded, they killed a whole bunch of independent contractors.
Yeah, because he's like, you got to think when the first one was already completed.
Yeah, so it was
fully
just
operational, so it was just full of imperial scum or whatever. But like this one was still under contract with general contractors and outside. He's like, they had to hire under the counter contractors because they had to do it in secret.
They had to have like plumbers and electricians and all this stuff.
Yeah, and apparently when Lando Calrissian blew it up, they were probably still on there.
Yep.
And he's like, I just wonder if they knew the impetus of the job they were taking on.
And then a roofer shows up.
Yeah, he's like, because he gives him his card. He's like, blah 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 blah, roofer. Here's my card. And then he starts talking about how he had a friend once take a job. There was a mob boss that he was going to take a job for, but he knew who it was, so he didn't take the job. His friend ended up taking the job, and then a disgruntled mob other guy showed up and killed him and his whole crew.
Yeah. And during that, it's panning over to Jay, and he's like stealing donuts.
Yeah, which is funny. Yeah. That's really my next note too. Is Jay sneaking cakes or something? I couldn't tell what it was exactly.
I just wrote also Jay is stealing.
And then like the builder basically confirms like, yeah. So you see, I knew the risk of the job, and because of that, it saved my life. He's like, whoever was working for the Empire knew the risks, and it was their fault that they died. And I was like, no, shit. I kind of can't find a flaw in his logic.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then black screen.
Vagary.
What does that mean?
Well, I assume it's because, like, you've heard of the word vagabond?
Vagabond, yeah.
I think it's something like that, similar-ish. So maybe, like, I don't know. That's a good question, man. I don't really know.
We don't have research here to look it up for us.
Yeah, she has the night off.
Well, then it cuts back to Randall with Jay and Silent Bob outside.
Yeah. Because you can, like, see him through the window.
Yeah.
They're always in front of the video store, basically.
And then there's a lady asking about movies, but Randall isn't paying any attention.
Yeah, like
to
reading the
this.
newspaper. And she's like, do you watch movies? He's like, no, I don't like movies. I was like, yeah. That's what I would say, too, to my customers.
Us either. We also
I don't like movies. And then she's like, oh, well, this guy's clearly not paying attention. So she takes both the tapes, put them behind her back, and then brings them back. Like, what about these two? He's like, I don't know, I've never seen them. And then she pulls out this one. What about this one? And it's like, oh, that movie sucks. And he's like, it's the same movie.
Yeah.
He's
same two movies.
I don't appreciate your cunning. I don't appreciate your attitude. I don't appreciate your cunning ruse, man.
Yeah.
And then I wrote down, because I think this happens right after, he says, nothing more exhilarating than pointing out the shortcomings of others.
Like, yeah, me too, brother.
Yeah.
He's like, I hope it makes you happy. I hope it generally makes you happy.
And then she leaves and she says something to him and he opens the door and yells at her, "You're not allowed to rent here anymore."
Yeah, because he's like, because she's like, I'm not gonna rent here anymore. He's like, you will be missed. And then she yells,
screw you.
Yeah, and that's when he gets mad. He's like, screw me. He's like, you're not allowed to rent here anymore. And then fucking Jay goes, yeah.
And then he goes
back to the gas station, the quick stop.
Or the quick stops. I don't know if it's really a gas station or not.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think it's just a convenience store.
And then there's a dude sitting there on the floor, surrounded by eggs. And you find out he's looking for the perfect dozen.
But like, there's a woman that comes in and says that, like, they'll always pay for the stuff that they damage, but like,
because it has to be the perfect dozen already in a dozen. He can't just mix and match. He's like, that's what I said, but then he yelled at me.
Yeah,
like he literally has to find the dozen that has like all dozen eggs perfect.
And apparently, it's very common in guidance counselors.
Yeah,
you know, in North Carolina, there's like a rule where you can't like take eggs out of a carton and replace them with the.
Well, I've still done it before, so I guess I'm illegal.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
Like, I guess I should be in jail.
At least not in the stores, you know? Like,
I had no idea.
That's why, like, egg donations are a thing.
Interesting. Yep. Well, I've done that, so I guess lock me up, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you're not supposed to do that, and I just thought about that.
I haven't bought eggs in years, but when I have, I usually do that.
But a lady comes in and buys cigarettes. And then, like, while she's doing that and talking about it, then the guidance counselor thing, he, like, shoves an egg in his mouth.
Also, during this, we get our second not supposed to be here today. It's in my notes, but it's before the scene ends because it's in between another note of this guy. So, like, somewhere in between this, we get the not supposed to be here today, number 2.
But also, they're called shell shockers.
Yeah.
And you find out they go crazy because their jobs are meaningless. Yeah. Which, I mean, guidance counselors, especially in, like, high schools and shit, their jobs are meaningless.
Because my note, she's like, because, like, if your job is as meaningless as theirs, wouldn't you do this too? I'm like, yeah, I guess. And then my next note was literally, because I told Mom this too, she thought it was interesting, that Dylan's guidance counselor was the same as my guidance counselor, because he was my guidance counselor when I was younger, and then he moved to your guys' school later. Huh. And I told Mom that. I was like, yeah, because I was telling Mom about like that and like how we almost ended up at the same prom together.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's just crazy how like our lives intersected before.
But after she says that his job is meaningless, she says that's why she manually masturbates caged animals for artificial insemination.
And they both go, huh.
And then she just leaves.
Yep.
And then the dude starts breaking eggs up against the glass.
Yeah, he's just like... Like you can tell he is so distraught by these eggs because he can't do it.
And then you have our next word, purgation. I would assume is how you spell that.
Which I guess is just like
purging. Say that.
It's like the present tense of purging, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it pans to this little girl's face.
Yep. Little kid, and she...
and bongos are playing. And
she buys smokes at the gas station, and Randall pays no attention and just sells it to her.
Yep, because he's reading the paper again. And literally in my notes I put, Randall sells minors cigarettes. This will come back later.
Oh, yeah.
And then Randall, or Dante shows back up. And
with the price gun. He's like pricing stuff. But I put in my notes that I also used to play with that a lot because it was fun to play with.
Yeah, and then Randall asked, do you ever wonder how much the jizz mopper makes?
And he's like, the jizz mopper, and he's like, yeah, the one that works in the nudie booth. And he talks about like just like what happens at the nudie booth and how,
like they're using all sorts of like curses and shit.
And they'll insert things into any opening. He says that specifically. And then he also mentions that cum leaves streaks if you don't clean it correctly.
Yep. And then the guy at the counter who's buying whatever while they're talking about that is like,
he's a nerd.
Yeah, he's like, your language is inappropriate. I'm not going to shop here anymore.
Yeah, it's offending me. And then he shows him what he's looking at in the magazine, and it's like a whole pussy. pussy.
Yeah.
He's like a whole
He's like,
vagina.
I think
runs
that's the
away.
first time we've had a vagina in the Movie Juice podcast, by the way.
Yeah. And also, I just want to point out, I'm pretty sure this is the same guy as the egg guy, just without, like, the white in his hair. Because it looks very similar to the egg guy, right? Am I crazy? He
Yeah.
looked like the egg guy.
I don't think it's the egg guy.
Okay, because I just put my notes. I'm pretty sure that's the same guy as the egg guy, because they looked very similar.
I don't think it is.
I'll check eventually.
Whenever that dude walks away, I can't remember which one says it. I think it's Dante. He says this job would be great
if it wasn't for the fucking
customers.
And I literally put that's the story of my life.
Yeah. And then
And this is where Randall's basically like, why don't you cut loose a little bit? You need to like vent about the customers.
yeah, vent your frustrations, and he says he can't stand the milkmaids.
The ones who I thought this was funny because I made sure my mom was paying attention because she used to do this shit. Or like they look and search for that fucking extra. They search a couple extra to see if there's any more that are trying to find the perfect dozen or trying to find the perfect expiration date that will never go out of date.
Or the one that has like the farthest.
The first expiration date.
Yeah, it's like,
as
it's
if
like
there's some sort of
literally a
magical
day.
jug back there that will never go out of date.
And then Randall starts talking about the customers he doesn't like.
Yeah, he's like, you know, a customer I can't stand, and he goes, all of them. It's like, yeah, that too. But
He doesn't like video store customers because they're dumb and get bad movies.
yeah, because
Yeah,
Navy SEALs.
Yeah, there's like a whole montage of dumb customers there.
Yeah,
for a
like
second.
how much is this thing anyway? Like everything 99 cents
Yeah,
on this
it's
rack.
like this little montage of
and then it's like, are you guys open? It's like,
Or
early
like,
we're open.
Do you guys have any new releases? And he's standing in front of
Or the new releases,
yeah.
yeah.
And then they start talking about Caitlyn some more.
And then Veronica shows up while they're doing that.
Veronica
And it's
shows
kind of
up.
crazy that she didn't hear them talking about
Well,
it. but-
before that, after Dante rants, Randall's like, "Do you feel any better?" And he goes, "No, because his ex-girlfriend's getting married."
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's
And
why.
then Veronica pops back up with some lasagna.
Yeah,
Because I think he's like, oh yeah, he says my ex-girlfriend's getting married to, and then like that's when Veronica, he's like, he's getting married to Veronica. And he's like, oh shit.
And then while they're talking, Ronnie and Dante, Randall says 37, like, which I thought was funny. And then Veronica leaves, and Randall's like, well, at least I wasn't number 36. Like,
Which I put in my notes. I was like, oh yeah, because he's talking to Veronica about how Randall kind of put it into perspective for him, and I was like, in my notes, it's a weird note. I put it in there kind of weird because I couldn't figure out how to word it, but like I just like it like most people will be like, oh no, like I think it's cool that Randall kind of stuck up for his girlfriend. Like, look, at least it could be worse, man. Like he's trying to give him advice about trying to see it through her perspective, basically,
Yeah,
which I liked. Like most of them would be like, oh yeah, you're probably just like talking misogynistically with your friends, but like no, like he actually like it's cool that he actually let Dante see her point a little more. Especially for all the shit we learned about Randall in the past like 20 minutes. It's cool that Randall's still like, no, Veronica's pretty cool. Like, you're kind of blowing this out of proportion, my guy.
yeah. And then,
Malice.
Malaise? Yeah, I don't know what this one is, actually.
Oh, I thought it was Malice.
I don't know. It's just with the I confuses me.
yeah, it's not Malice. Malice is Malice.
Yeah. So, like, I really don't know what this one is. Because it could be said either way, I think. I don't know. I don't actually know this fucking word, so I wouldn't
And then
know.
you find out that the boss went to Vermont, and then you get another, I'm not even supposed to be here
which is
today.
number
Yep.
3.
So he's stuck there until closing.
Yep.
And I just wrote, who was he talking to? Like another employee there?
Maybe.
Either another employee or maybe like the boss's wife or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think he was just calling to see if he was getting close, or because he really wants to play the hockey.
And then
I think
Randall-
that's when she said he moved to Vermont. Whoever said that he went to Vermont.
Randall kind of starts putting Dante down a little bit and talking about how he always back down and buckles like a belt because Dante's going to miss the game.
But also, I put in my notes, I think the Veronica scene was filmed prior, and maybe they just put it in the wrong order, because later on earlier she says, I have a class, blah, 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 at 9, but I'll see you when you close.
Yeah.
So I think they might have put that in the wrong order, because that might have been after maybe that was supposed to be after he found out that he had to close.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I thought was a little interesting tidbit I picked up. I was like, oh, I wonder if that was supposed to be like that.
And then he calls his buddies to cancel the game.
And then he's like, wait, do we have to play at the
We
park?
have
Yeah,
to
do we
play
play
the
at the
part.
park?
And then
And the parents of them getting ready for the hockey game.
Yeah, in
Yep.
the store, and you're like, oh, I still don't get. Are they gonna play in the street?
Yeah.
And then Randall tells us that they're gonna play on the roof.
And then his buddy calls him a shoe polish smelling motherfucker.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's like, can I have a Gatorade? He's like, no, because if you get a Gatorade, everyone's gonna want a Gatorade. And it's like,
Well, they all get the Gatorade.
yeah, because I remember he said something like, well, I mean, if you're gonna break the rules, he's like, well, are we gonna play? You're closing the store to play on the roof, right? And he's like, well, yeah, but he's like, well, then he's basically like, then if you're gonna break the rules, why not go the extra 9? You know?
Yeah. I also wrote down, you're living in denial and suppressing rage, motherfucker. And then it cuts to them playing on the roof.
Because I remember Randall also says he insubordination rules.
And there's a customer trying to come into the... There's like a customer. It keeps going back and forth between the rooftop game and the customer.
There's a sign on the door that says temporarily
closed until after first quarter. First half.
And Randall is a bad goalie because somebody scores on him, or made sure to bring that up.
And the guy, the guy who wanted into the store is like, you suck, man. I could do better than that. He's like, you want to get up here and fucking play anything? He's like, yeah, I do.
And he's like, you can't pass. And then there's like another person that shows up and says, hey, are you open? While he's arguing with
and
the
they both
customer.
are like, no.
They both turn and look and say no. And then he's like, they let the random customer come up there to play, and he plays dirty. He like pushes Dante over, and then he hits the ball as hard as he can, and it goes off the roof.
Way too fucking far away.
And it rolls into the sewer. Yeah.
He's like, oh man, get the other ball. He's like, what other ball? He's like, about the orange one and the orange one. So they only had one ball. And then he asked down there, are there any balls down there? And Jay says, yeah, the biggest pair you ever seen, Dingleberry.
And then he says, I'm not even supposed to
be here today. Number 4.
Harbinger is the next word.
I know that word. This is one of the ones I didn't know.
And then it shows Dante fixing a light in the store, and a random customer shows up. Inside of light has stuff that gives you cancer. Because he had a friend in the circus.
The guy, did he die from cancer?
And he got hit by a bus.
He got hit by a bus.
And then that old man asks if he can use the toilet, even though the toilet's for employees only.
He's like, we have one, but it's for employees only.
And he says, please, I'm incontinent.
How much you call incontinent? And I was like, shit, I'm not gonna make a grown ass man shit his pants. So you can just use the bathroom. I don't care.
And then he asks about the toilet paper because he says he has hemorrhoids. And he's like, yeah, it's kind of rough, I guess. And he tries to
yeah, though he says that hemorrhoids.
He talks him into letting him use the cotton toilet paper.
Yeah, he got a case of the soft stuff in the back. Let me have some of that. He's like, I guess whatever.
And then he also talks them into letting him take a nudie mag in there.
Well, you watch just like some read material.
Yeah, well, because he likes the cartoon titties.
Yeah, he's like, they make me laugh. And he's like, well, not that one though. This one has bigger titties.
Yeah, biggest titties you ever saw in the cartoons.
Yeah.
And then Sarah looks at me and goes, "Bro's going in there to jerk off."
Yeah. She's not wrong.
Yeah.
Had she seen this movie before?
No.
So yeah, no. Even she could figure that one out. Like shit.
And Randall returns talking about the game, and you find out that the guys stole all the Gatorade.
Yeah, because Randall says, you want anything to drink? And Deonta's like, yeah, Gatorade. And he comes back and is like, you're all out of Gatorade. He's like, yeah, exactly. They fucking took it all.
And then it cuts back outside, and it's Snowball. Snowball's out there with them.
Yeah.
And a girl died mid-backstroke. What is that about?
Oh, in the pool.
Yeah.
In her funeral today.
Oh, yeah.
Well, before that, when they cut to James Silent Bob, I wanted to point out that, like, I put in my notes, Kevin Smith doing a part in the movie, but making him a silent character just may be the best way for a director to write themselves into a movie in the history of movies.
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan should take notes.
Yeah, because like it's perfect that like he wrote himself into the movie, but he doesn't have any. He only has like one line of dialogue throughout the whole movie. That's like I respect that. Like most other directors who write themselves into the movies don't have that kind of restraint.
And then that girl that died, you find out is one of Dante's 12.
Yeah,
she was number 6.
Which I think is funny. Like she's just number 6.
Yep. And Randall talks about how he will go to the funeral or the seeing.
He's like, no, you're not. Because it's today at 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll go with him if Dante goes, and he's like, no, you're not coming because somebody's got to watch the store. And you find out that he loves gatherings but hates people. And he wants to go to the wake. And then they leave.
Because they're basically like, oh, you're going to close the store for hockey. I mean, what's a little longer?
I know, right? And then... At this
point, I'm not going to lie, I would have just fucking left.
Yeah, me too.
Like, fuck, who am I inconveniencing? The town? I don't give a shit. Like, the boss who fucking fucked me over and went to fucking Montreal is the damn reason that this is happening. I'm not going to fucking stay there for him.
He went to Vermont.
That's what he said.
You said Montreal.
Oh, my bad. My bad. But still. Yeah.
That's Canada, brother.
My bad. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, dude, fuck him, dude. Like, I would have left by now. That's all I'm saying.
And then they're riding in the car.
I love the scene, too, because I like the way they film it. Because, like, you can tell clearly the person's in the back seat filming it. In order to not see them in the rearview mirror, they just pan back and forth really quick between Dante and...
Yeah.
Like, it's a fun neat... Like, it's kind of, like, jarring at first, but it's a very neat trick that I like that they did.
They start talking about his cousin Walter who died.
Trying to suck his own dick.
He broke his neck trying to suck his own dick. And then he asks Dante, have you ever tried to suck your own dick? And I just wrote, we all have. Which I think is true. And Dante's like, oh, I could never reach. And then Randall calls him...
Randall's like trying to get him to admit that he's done it.
And then Randall calls him a perv because he gaslights him into admitting he's tried to suck his own dick.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you fucking pervert.
And it's pretty funny.
And then next is perspicacity?
Yeah, I didn't get that one.
I didn't get that one either.
Because it's like a long
word. No, there's some stuff in between that.
Oh, yeah, because they arrive at the wake.
They get to the wake.
And then it cuts back to the store and shows there's a bunch of people in there trying to get in.
Yeah, because Randall says, relax, how many people come to the store
at 4 p.m. on a Saturday?
Yeah, a lot.
Like a fuck ton of them. And they're just like banging on the door to get in.
And then it pans to them walking inside to the wake, and it says 5 minutes later.
And they're
running
away.
out. And then they drive off, and while the funeral people are also chasing
what is
after
them. Because I put something about the casket falling over afterwards. So it's just them leaving, and then it does that.
Yeah.
And then they start talking about it.
Yeah, they leave the.
It's weird that I made my notes like that.
And then it says like Randall. You find out that Randall
leaned on the casket and knocked it over, and the body fell out.
And then it's like, not like if it matters if she breaks something.
Just put her back in there. And I was like, he's got a point. It sucks, but he's got a point. I mean, you can't really like. I've never like. Yeah, you show respect to the dead, but like at a certain point, it's just a husk. That's probably just me being morbid, but at the same time, it's like there's nothing in there. When I'm dead and gone, I don't care what you do to my body. Because it's not really me anymore.
I know, right?
But anyway. And then when they get back, Jay and Silent Bob are there on the outside.
Does Jay try to fight Randall? I wrote that down.
Well, Dante...
My next note says cock smoking clerk. I can't remember.
Well, Dante tells Randall to go open the video store, and Jay's like, yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
And then Randall calls Jay a druggie.
Yeah.
Dante tells Jay to stop dealing drugs in front of the store, and he's like, we're not dealing drugs in front of the store.
And then the guy comes up wanting to buy weed. He's like, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because that's when Jay calls Randall a cock smoking clerk.
Right. And Randall is trying to... Oh, yeah, because then Randall tries to borrow...
his car to rent a movie.
To go rent a movie. And he's like, bro, you work at the video store. And he's like, I want a good movie.
I want to rent a good movie from a good video store.
And a customer says that's a cute cat and asks its name. And Randall says, annoying customer.
Are you open? Another customer comes in and asks that.
Because it happens throughout the whole movie. And then multiple people are like, yes.
And they come in to buy cigarettes.
And then he's like talking about the tabloids in the paper and about how the tabloids always have like the craziest shit in them, and like Dante's giving him pretty standard like clerk answers like, yeah, it's crazy, right? Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And then fucking Randall is not having it.
Spits water in his face.
Yeah, because they're talking about how title dictates behavior.
They're talking about title dictates behavior.
And he's like, title does not dictate behavior.
Yeah.
No, it totally does.
Yeah.
Because Randall spits in his face.
And he's like, oh, you motherfucker. He's like, oh, no, he meant to hit me. He's like, here's your money back for the cigarettes and we'll call it even.
And Dante asks why he did that. Randall said, I did it for two reasons. One, because
I hate motherfuckers like that.
He hates it when people won't shut up about tabloids.
Which I totally do the same way.
To prove that title does not dictate behavior.
People dictate their own behavior.
Right.
And Randall, what is he? Dante calls Randall something. Because Randall says that he thinks he's a danger to both the... Oh, he calls him a danger to both the dead and the living.
Yeah.
Because he finally... What was the argument to win the car? Because he talks about how... Because basically how title does not dictate behavior. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do that into the customer's face, basically.
Right. And then we have Paradigm. And it's like a gym bro telling him that he needs to work out because he struggled to lift up the carton of milk.
And he's kind of this fucking like shitty ass gym bro.
Yeah.
And I just put in my notes, you may be buff, but you got some buck ass teeth. Because he had some weird fucking teeth.
And he starts talking about like Dante's like, no, I'm in shape, and he's like I'm not fat, and he's like, yeah, but you're not toned either.
Yeah, he's just being an asshole to him.
And then there's like a random businessman looking guy that shows up.
Yeah, that comes in for a second.
While they fat shame Dante.
Yeah, him and this other girl.
And this other girl shows up, and they start fat shaming Dante.
And then you find out that she's Caitlin's sister, or she's
Caitlin's
friend's sister. Who? Then you find out that the gym guy was fucking Caitlin while they were together in high school.
Yeah, Caitlin is a whore. And then, like, that random businessman is just kind of, like, sitting there asking Dante questions.
Yeah, like, were you here?
Like, you're here around, like, 4 or whatever. And then he gives Dante a fine for $500 because Randall sold the cigarettes to that kid.
Yep.
Randall is a son of a bitch. Dante is having a bad day. And then
It really is.
Yeah, like the other two people were like, we're not gonna be around here.
With someone who sold cigarettes to a child.
To a 4-year-old. And then she's like, she basically goes with him. She's like, oh yeah, where are you going? I'll go with you. And
he offers her a ride. He goes and bangs this girl. And then Caitlin shows up.
Well, Dante asks, what's next? And then he hears his name. And
then Caitlin?
Yeah, he says Caitlin.
He says Caitlin.
And then it pans to
Randall at the good video store.
And he just falls to his knees because he's in love with the store. And I was like, bro, to be fair, that store does look way better.
Yeah, it looks way better.
I also would probably cry tears of joy and fall to my knees.
And then it shows Caitlin and Dante hugging.
Well, also...
Yeah, they're hugging, and then they start talking to each other.
What about Jay and Silent Bob's dance? When does that happen?
Like, right after the hug.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That was just my next night. I didn't have the hug. That's why. Thank you.
Like, it's kind of like, it kind of cuts a little bit. Because I see Silent Bob is there, and then Caitlin is saying that she's staying till
Silent Bob comes in to,
like,
buy a thing of milk or something.
Yeah. And then to talk about marrying the Asian design major, and then it shows Jay dancing. And he has a fucking crazy dance.
Yeah.
And it's a good time. It's just very random.
And one of my favorites is Silent Bob's move too, which is like,
yeah, bro.
It's like I whip that one out sometimes still because it's a fun move.
And then I just write how Caitlin is a whore, but she says she's not getting married. And then I also just took a little sidebar comment and said, "What kind of newspaper announces someone's engagement?"
Agreed. I thought that was weird too.
Well, she also says that her mom's the one that called in.
Yeah, but even then, what newspaper's going to be like? Yeah, I'll run that as a story.
Maybe like a local one,
fucking
maybe.
Super slow news day.
Well, to be fair, like in these small towns like this, there are like you ever looked at the Outlook around here?
Well, the Focus.
Like it's like the Focus is big too, where it's the smallest stupidest shit. There's just one guy who just writes a review on movies that new movies have just come out, and I'm like, is there nothing else to write about?
Yeah, man, is there nothing else to talk about but movies?
Yeah, right.
That's how you sound right now.
Well, they leave it outside the bathrooms at work, and sometimes when I'm waiting for a bathroom to open up, I do flip to that page to see what people are saying about the movies that just came. I'm just saying, there's not much in these small towns, because there's some other people where it's like the person of the week, and it's like just some random person that owns like a bar in town.
Yep.
But you find out that she came back to literally just to talk to Dante.
Well, to check on him because she thought he would be a wreck.
Yeah,
and
she's kind of right.
And she isn't gonna marry the Asian design major,
whose name is Sang, by the way.
Yeah,
and then because Dante's like Sang, like past tense.
And I write down that Dante is a piece of garbage to Veronica.
I literally put again, Dante is not a good dude because he's basically like, they're talking about that. He's like, yeah, we'll get Sang and Veronica to hook up. Maybe they'll get together.
Maybe they'll hit
we
it
get
off.
back together. And I'm like, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
And because he asks her out on a dinner and movie date, and she's just trying to fuck him.
Yeah, she's like, oh, the classic
Dante dinner
TV
movie date. Yeah.
She's like, what about the Caitlin walk on the boardwalk and walk the beach naked date?
They talk about something, and she goes, "I'm here throwing my body at you, and you're giving me semantics."
Yeah, which is pretty funny because like it's very obvious she just kind of wants to fuck. Like she also she does say she wants to get back together, but at the same time, as of right now, she's pretty much only there to lay him.
Yeah,
and it's pretty apparent. I don't know why he can't figure it out.
Yeah, well, like she does agree to the date, and she has to go break the disengagement to her mother while Dante closes up.
Yeah, because she hasn't even seen her mom yet. Like Dante was her first stop after getting off the train.
And then it pans to Jay still dancing outside. And then it pans to Randall getting back to the shop. Randall rented a hermaphrodite porn movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hermaphroditic porn.
It's called Best of Both Worlds.
Great title.
And Dante tells him about what happened.
Yeah, because he's like, oh yeah, I got slapped with a fine. He's like, oh man, why you seem chill about it? He's like, oh, because Caitlin showed up. And Randall's like, no, she fucking did. He's like, yeah, we're getting back together.
Yep.
Yeah, and then also it pans to Jay putting a paper on the door that says "I eat cock."
And he like slams on the fucking window, and then Randall comes out.
Randall comes and opens it, and it looks like it. Yeah,
it looks like it says "I eat cock"
because it's like a dialogue bubble.
Yeah. And then we get Whimsy.
And then it shows Randall and
watching the porn while Caitlin walks in.
Yeah.
Because
I think he's watching the store while Dante went home to change.
Yeah. He was like, oh, how'd the talk with your mother go? And she pretty much got kicked out.
Yep.
And he was like, wow, you got thrown out.
Don't come back till graduation.
Yeah, she was like, wow, you got thrown out for Dante?
Yeah, right. Like, I wouldn't have.
Yeah, no shit. I just think
I also get that I wouldn't want to marry the art design major either, but like I wouldn't want to get kicked out of my parents' house either for it.
I just want to sidebar that it's crazy that he's just sitting there watching this porno.
Yeah, like, in the fucking store.
In the store.
In front of God and everybody.
Yeah.
And
just like so nonchalant about it too. Had the fucking hand up on his face and everything.
Yeah. He's just like, huh. It's fucking American Psycho shit.
And then she's gonna go to the bathroom real quick, but I love this part. He says, break his heart again and I'll kill you.
Well, also, she asks if she can use the bathroom, and he says,
"Oh, it's weird,
but it's dark back there because the light back there mysteriously turns off every day at 5:14 p.m."
Yeah, I wrote that too. And then that's when he threatens to kill her if she hurts Dante.
Yep. And I put BFF loyalty. I respect it.
Yeah.
And then Dante comes back.
Well, he also says he was mine first.
Yeah. And Dante comes back.
Which is pretty much what I tell you guys significant others.
Yeah. Dante came back and Randall was holding the "I eat cock" sign, and Dante asks who eats cock.
Yeah. Who eats cocks? Bunch of savages in this town.
Oh, before that, we get Quandary.
Yeah, Quandary.
Because I literally put Bunch of Savages Part 3.
And then Caitlin like comes out of the bathroom and she looks like she just got railed.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck did she have sex with in the back?
Her hair was messed up. Her little tie she had was like undone.
Yeah.
She asked Dante, "How did you get up here so fast?"
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you talking about? She was like, well, I just went back there and you were just waiting on me. And,
we had the best sex.
We had the best sex ever because you just laid there and let me do whatever I wanted.
You never liked that, usually.
And then, like, because, like, Randall and Dante are both like, you didn't have sex with us. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then Sarah was like, did she fuck the old dude? And then, yes, she did fuck the old dude. He was dead, but his cock was very erect.
He was dead, but his cock was very much alive.
Yeah. Because apparently the body can maintain an erection for hours after death.
Yeah, because apparently, because the investigator is like, for the best we can tell, he died around like 3-something. He was probably masturbating and then died, and then his cock stayed hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I guess rigor mortis set in after that.
And then
I put dude apparently was cranking his hog on the pooper and his heart seized and then he died and then Caitlin came in to put her steaky on that dead hang down.
Hell yeah.
And I think it's funny too because as they're wheeling him away, his erection's still there under the sheet.
And then Randall asks the agent if like that's like the weirdest thing she's ever seen.
Oh, it's crazy.
And then you find out that she was like, no, one time I found somebody who had broke their own neck while trying to give themselves oral sex. And it's like, oh man.
That was the guy they were talking about in the car.
That's the guy they were talking about.
And then she's like, yeah, so he died about 3:14. It's like, neither of you were here at the store. She's like, what kind of convenience store are you running?
Yeah, I know.
Because she's like, he's like, I gave him the nudie mag. I'm like, what? Why'd you do that? It's like, he just asked for a magazine. And then she's like, and you weren't even here when you left him in the back all day? What kind of convenience store are you running?
Before she even asked that, they asked about what's going to happen to Caitlin. She was like, oh, she's going to need years of shock therapy.
Yeah, Snowball like walks by her.
Yeah, and the investigator was just like, why would she fuck a dead body? And Dante's like, she thought it was me. And then she's like, what kind of convenience store are you running?
And then we have our next word, lamentation. And then it shows Randall eating salsa with Doritos, and he's salsa shark.
Salsa shark.
And Randall asked Dante what his problem is. He hasn't said anything in 20 minutes.
He said, like, what's your problem? And he said, this life is my problem. And I said, same, buddy.
He also says that his ex-girlfriend is catatonic after fucking a dead guy, and his current girlfriend has sucked 36. And Randall corrects him and says it's 37.
And then this is one of my favorite parts of the movie. Whenever Randall says, you need to shit or get off the pot.
Like, shit or get off the pot? What do you mean?
And because he doesn't like accept any responsibility for like his own actions.
But he also can't initiate his own change.
Yeah.
He's like, look at you, man. Like, there's other jobs. Like, you hate this place so much.
If you hate this place so much, why don't you just quit? He's like, it's not that simple. He's like, no, it really fucking is.
And Randall talks about how he never complains about like his situation. Because
at one point,
that's all Dante does.
At one point, he says, "My mind is in the shitter right now. So if you don't mind, I'd like to stew a little bit." He's like, "You know what your problem is?" And then he goes, "I was born." I said, "Me too, Dante." Me too.
Same.
And that's when Randall's like, "You need to shit or get off the pot." And then Randall asks why he doesn't quit his job if he hates it so bad. There's more jobs out there, and he's bound to be at least one of them. Randall says it's all about the convenience for Dante, and Dante bitches all the time. And Randall doesn't complain because he likes his life currently, or he likes the state of how his life is.
And then he starts talking to him about how he needs to be with who he wants. and how he treats Ronnie bad, and he tells him not to pine for one and fuck the other.
Yep.
And then he calls him a fucking coward.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he also says that he's only dating Veronica because of the convenience.
Yep.
You live a life of convenience. You come to this job every day for convenience, doing that for exactly.
He's talking about Caitlyn again and how she fucked a dead guy, and he says, "Well, my mom's been fucking a dead guy for 30 years. I call him dad."
Because he's like Veronica will fucking get over it, like or he said Caitlyn will get over it.
Yeah,
like,
and he's like, "You gotta make things change."
Yeah. Dante says he can't make things change.
He's hard at initiating change.
And I actually have a quote from Randall, and he says, "So what? You're gonna sit there and be miserable because you don't have the guts to face change?"
Yep.
And Dante says he's not the kind of guy who is going to disrupt things just to shit
comfortably. And I was like, "Fuck, man!" It's crazy how much I could be like both of these guys at once.
Yeah, like I literally,
I've been both of these guys sometimes at the same time. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean we all fall into our routine and appreciate what's comfortable. I mean, I think everybody is guilty of that at one point or another in their life. And then we have our next word,
juxtaposition,
which I don't know what that means either.
Juxtapositions, like it's like this or that, kind of like juxtapose this versus that.
Okay.
And Jay and Silent Bob enter the store.
Noise, 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 smoking weed, doing coke, drinking beers.
But also during juxtaposition, we get this noise that happens during the title card, and that's actually in Kanye's song "Wolves."
What's the noise?
Yeah.
It's like woo! It's almost like a wolf howling.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pack of raps, my brother, man. Time to kick back, drink some beers, and smoke some weed.
And also, Jay wants to fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love women.
I love women. And then they close. You find out that it's almost closing time.
And also while they're talking, Jay's stealing again.
Yeah.
Well, Jay and Dante are having a small talk, and Jay invites Dante to a party. Dante declines, and Jay asks about the dead guy. Jay makes a joke about Caitlyn and humps Silent Bob.
He's like, that's my girl. That's my ex-girlfriend you're talking about.
And then Jay brings up how Veronica seems to be good to him.
Yeah, he's like, what about the Veronica chick's always hanging around here?
And Caitlyn don't do shit for him.
Yep.
And I like this too. He talks about his grandma and something that she'd always say, and she'd say, "What's a good plate with nothing on it?"
Yeah. He's like, "Oh wait, I fucked it up."
Well, Jay also says that like he's never seen Caitlyn do shit for him, but he sees Veronica doing shit for him all the time.
Yeah, like helping you change the tire. He's like, "Well, no, I jacked it up, but she did
like,
all the bolts
and
that's when he tries to quote his grandma fucks it up.
Yeah.
And then
I think he says like, "Well."
Then he calls Dante a cocksmoker and leaves.
Yeah, which is also I wanted to say that this movie is single-handedly the reason I call motherfuckers cocksmokers.
He also mentions that his grandma shits herself.
I don't know, man. He's getting pretty senile towards the end there. And I think she just shit herself. And then of course, fucking Silent Bob drops the biggest knowledge of all time. I have the full
quote right here.
Yeah.
You know, there's a million fine-looking women in the world, dude, but they don't all bring you lasagna at work. Most of them will just cheat on you. And I put Silent Bob with the truth bomb.
Literally.
And then Jay yells to Silent Bob, "Come on, Limp Dick."
Limp Dick's like, yeah.
They will cheat on you.
Yeah, they will.
Trust. And then Veronica comes in, like, right after that and starts fucking beating up on Dante, right? Like, because Randall...
No.
We're missing the whole scene with Randall.
Yeah, shit, I missed, like, a whole bunch of notes.
Dante says that he's right and that he loves her. Pants to Randall talking to Veronica.
Yep.
And Randall explained everything to her and says Dante never got Caitlyn out of his system.
Yeah. And then she shows up, right?
Yep.
Starts hitting him with her bag and stuff, kind of kicking his ass.
Yep.
And then she says that, like, she's going to go suck so much cock.
Yeah, it's like, if you thought 36 was a lie, you just wait till I go down on everybody down.
Yep, because he was going to leave Ronnie for Caitlyn.
Yep, because I literally put Dante pays the piper.
Yeah. Well, she also says, you don't know what you want, but I'm not going to sit here and hold your hand until you figure it out.
Right, because we also forgot a whole through line of like she moved back to the hometown to go to college there, so that way maybe she could get Dante to go back to college.
Yeah, like get him out of his rut.
Yeah, which I fucking goddamn, man. She's
a good woman.
Yeah, hard to find.
Yeah,
but goddamn.
Silent Bob was right.
Yeah, but goddamn, fucking Dante fucked that up.
He fucked that up so hard.
She really just wanted the best for him.
She's gonna leave him, and she says she's gonna like see him flounder and get back with Caitlyn.
Oh man,
and they're gonna break up, and she's gonna laugh at him.
Like, yeah, he's like, no, I want you to go back with Caitlyn because I want you to see what's gonna happen when she dumps your ass again, and I'm fucking over here having the time of my fucking life. And then we get catharsis.
Yeah, and then Randall locks the door to the movie store, opens the quick shop, and Dante just starts choking him.
Yep, they has fight.
Fight. I literally, my next note is literally just fight.
And then it's funny because Randall like hits Dante with a piece of bread. And the cat's just like watching them fuck the store up.
Yeah, cause like the first thing he does is like choke him too. He's like, it's fucking funny.
And Dante asks why he told Veronica, and Randall says he thought since he couldn't initiate change that he would help him.
And he really was just trying to do what worked best for him. It just also happened to be that at the same time he was getting nuggets of wisdom dropped by Silent Bob on him.
Yeah, and
that made him rethink his whole thing.
Randall didn't know that.
Yeah, you know? So like they both just wanted the best for each other, and so it just happened to not work out that time. And then we get our fifth not even supposed to be here today, and this is where Randall goes off.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, Dante says a whole bunch of shit, and he was just like, man, you keep fucking up my life. What's your grand finale? Are you going to anally rape my mother while pouring sugar into my gas tank?
What does sugar in gas tank do?
It fucks it up.
Fucks up the car
heard of
real
that?
bad.
No.
And then after he says all that, he says, you know what the real tragedy is? I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
And
then I love because Randall says, not even supposed to be here today. You're such an asshole.
He's like, everything that's happened to you, the only person you have to blame is yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he tells him that he's there of his own volition.
Yep.
Like, he was the one that decided to come into work today, which is true.
Yep.
He did decide that, because he could have just said no and not gotten in trouble.
Yeah, because he's basically having like, this whole like main character syndrome, and Randall's like there like saying "fuck you, buddy."
Yeah, fuck you, buddy. You're literally no different than anyone else, and this is all your fucking fault.
And then he says, "That Jay guy has the right idea."
He doesn't.
He has no illusions of what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also he says, Dante, if you think you're so more advanced than the rest of us, then why are you working here?
Why are we working here? And
Yep.
he's like, fuck.
If we're so fucking advanced, what are we doing working here? And then we have one more word. Denouement?
Yep, denouement.
Denouement.
It literally just means like the final act, basically.
Right, okay.
That's what I surprisingly did know. Now, I didn't know how to spell it. I had to pause it to spell it, because I don't know how to spell it. I know how to pronounce it, but I never knew how to spell it.
I'm not going to lie to you. I had to pause every single one of these so I could spell it.
There was a couple I didn't have to, but there was also another couple. For the most part, as long as I got a couple words, letters at the beginning, the phone could spell out the rest of it. But for some reason, it was having a hell of a time with denouement where I had to fucking go back multiple times.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just basically means like the final act.
And Dante and Randall have cleared up the mess they made.
Yeah, the boys clean up.
Yep.
And then Dante says that he's going to call out of work tomorrow, and he's going to try to visit Caitlin, and he's going to call Veronica, and then try to hang out with Randall.
I also find it funny while it's doing that, I looked at the paper on the thing, and it says world's fattest man weds tiny woman.
Dude, I also wrote that down.
That was funny.
I was like, okay, because like whatever.
And I also I love that old Slim Jim container they have next to the counter, because I remember seeing those all the time in old gas stations. Like, man, I miss those.
Yeah, because
it's like a giant fucking like coffee jug. It just had Slim Jims in it.
Yeah.
Because Randall says, "Good luck with Veronica," and then Randall says, "It's been a hell of a day."
It really has.
And Dante gets Randall to do his little Randall dance on the way out. He's like, "Nah, man." He's like, "Come on,
Randall out the door."
Randall out the door for me.
And I used to do that a lot.
Yeah,
I used to Randall in and out of the door.
It's a fun dance.
It really is,
a fun little thing.
And
then Randall he grabs the sign off the shutter and throws it back in there. He says, "You're closed."
And then it just ends with a rock song.
Well, actually, did you guys ever get to the very end of the credits where Jay it's like a little song? It's like the song that Jay sings.
Yep.
I didn't know.
And then I also put Marvel ripped off Kevin Smith by putting Jay and Silent Bob will return in Dogma.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, Marvel ripped off Kevin Smith.
Well, like, I was doing, like, for some reason the credits, I didn't stop them. And, like, it got to the very end. And that's when it was, like, Jay's little song. I fucking love this movie.
Same, dude. It's really fucking good. I think we juiced the hell out of it.
Absolutely. You want to go first?
For rating?
Yeah.
Fuck, this is rough, man. This is hard. Because I don't want to give it a 10.
Yeah, like, it's hard to take the rose-tinted glasses off.
Really
it's, like,
is.
literally one of my favorite movies. But I'm going to have to.
I was thinking about this yesterday when the movie was over, and I didn't want to give my 10 this early in the year, but goddamn, it's a 10, man. It's one of my favorite fucking movies. Well, fuck, I'll give it a 9 because I don't like the funeral stuff because they did have that whole scene filmed of the funeral, but they had to cut it out due to like budgets or whatever.
Yeah.
And then later on, they released a little animated short of what happened at the funeral years later, and so the pacing's a little weird there. So I'll give it a 9. I don't want to give it a perfect 10. I'll give it a 9.
I was going with a solid 8, just because like it is like one of my favorite movies, but I just don't know if I could ever fully give it a 10. Like it is a really good story. I feel like it. I worked at the first time I ever watched this movie, I was working at a fast food restaurant, which in the second one they're working at a fast food restaurant. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I've related to it for like literally a good portion of my life.
Yeah, same.
So I don't think I think 10 years ago, I definitely for sure would have gave it a 10. But like now that I've had other jobs that aren't dealing with the public, I don't really relate to it as much. And like, I just don't know if I can go higher than an 8 for it at all. But it is like one of my favorite movies of all time. It's just a movie I can just throw on in the background and just do
really
random shit.
Dude. Almost any Kevin Smith movie from the View Askew.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
from the View Askew universe, I can just throw on.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I'm throwing Tusk on in the background.
Or Cop Out.
So this was like, I'm pretty sure this was my first time watching this movie all the way through.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. And I enjoyed it and liked it, but I'm definitely not as high on it as you guys. I think a lot of that's just because y'all have a lot more to it than me.
That's fair.
I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah.
I liked it. I'd watch it again. I really liked a lot of the things that like Randall said. Like I really appreciated how he was.
Yeah.
But all in all, it's like a 7 for me. Like it's good. I like other View Askewniverse movies more.
Really?
But oh yeah. But also like, you know, whenever we get to those, like one of them in particular is very much like a nostalgia filled ride for me.
See, this was the nostalgia filled ride for me, but the other one I know you're talking about is also one of my favorites.
I would say Clerks 2 is probably the nostalgia one for me, just because I've seen that one.
That's fair. I've seen this one the most, actually, surprisingly.
On my parents are divorced, if people don't know, but like sometimes on my dad's weekends, I'd go over there and I'd be watching Comedy Central late at night. And they'd always have Clerks 2 on because of that one scene in the middle. Yeah, they couldn't show it any other time of day but later on at night.
See, mine's Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Really, that's another one for me because they would show that one a lot there in the morning.
Yeah,
that's the one I've seen the most.
Blood Man Chronic.
So that, you know, like whenever we get to that one, I'm definitely gonna be sucking that movie's cock hard.
Oh yeah.
But
I'll probably suck the next one's cock pretty hard too. I'm not gonna lie, which I think is the one you're talking about.
Mallrats.
Oh, okay, well, I didn't know if we were trying to keep it quiet for the other.
They're all in the thing. I mean, we're gonna
do them all at some point.
We're gonna do them all at some point. We've already talked about it.
Most of them are all of our like favorite movies that we've seen.
I will say Clerks 3 is the saddest.
Yeah, dude.
But it's really good.
It really is fun.
I haven't seen Clerks 2 or 3.
I cried a good bit in 3. I'm not gonna lie.
I did too.
The Jay and Silent Bob reboot or whatever
really
made
good
me
too.
cry.
Yeah.
And that's from someone who has never seen Chasing Amy, and I still got the feels from the ending of that one.
But either way, I did enjoy this movie, but I don't have anything else to say.
Anything?
Oh, I just wanted. I was 6 afraid of 7. 7, 8, 9.
Shit, son.
I thought that was pretty cool that we with that all the numbers were like that.
Dude, I was gonna hit you with the boob, then you explained it. And I was alright.
But it was kind of funny because it's like and it's funny how we went backwards. I was like 9, 8, 7. That's funny.
Yep. All right. Well, that's been another Movie Juiced. New episodes drop every Thursday morning. You can follow us on Facebook at Movie Juice, Instagram and Twitter at Movie Juice Pod. We have a coming soon website. Check that out at www.moviejuicepod.com. If you have any suggestions for a logo, or if you have any suggestions for movies you want to see us review, or if you just want to talk about movies we've already reviewed, or if you just want to give us your own rating on the show,
tell us how good we do.
Yeah.
Listen to the podcast,
bitch.
Yeah. Email us. We love to hear from you at moviejuicepod@gmail.com. All links can be found on our link tree. We are on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Follow us individually on Instagram and Twitter. Our handles are in the description below. We'll be back next week with The Wolfman, the new 2025 reboot. And as always, I've been Dylan.
I've been Kyle.
And I've been James. And for one last time, this has been The Juice.